to ask ourselves. Because really, if we don't really know why we want something, then why do we want it? Or rather, if we don't really know what we want, then anything that comes our way is what we take. So if we want to live a life of achievements, then we need to know why we want to achieve. And I'm sure maybe a couple of you had this thing before. And they say, some people say this is the management world, which basically is, some people think when you wake up in the morning, you go to work, you eat lunch, you eat dinner, you come back home, maybe you get married, you raise your family. A lot of people think that is life. Or some people say they are living. But really, technically speaking, that is not living, that is just existing. The only time when you can actually say to yourself you are living is when your life makes meaning and it positively affects other people. That is when you are living. And before your life can make meaning to affect other people, you need to affect yourself first. There is a proverb that says that if somebody is going to give you a clothes, you need to see the kind of clothes he is wearing. I cannot give you what I don't have. It's normal. So, we're going to be looking at that. Then again, the question again should be, what really do you want to achieve? What really do you want to achieve? Like I said earlier, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Okay, what really do you want, the third one, what really do you want to achieve? Like I said, if you don't know where you want to go, then any road will lead you there. And what will happen if you find that you're just drifting? So you need to understand that to live a life of achievement, everything you do has to be driven by purpose. There should be a purpose in everything you do. Or better still, maybe we should even ask ourselves, I don't know whether you guys have asked yourself this question, why are you all in, well, those of you in Rotaract, why are you in Rotaract? Why did you join? Is it partly to make friends, to have a couple of friends around you? Is that why you joined? So, these are some of this kind of thoughts, how you need to think about yourself, your life. That's how it's going to help you to understand how to live a life of achievement. But also, why did you come to Ryder? All of you are about 200 or 230 people are here. The question is, why did you come to Ryder? Why come and spend 8 days here? Or 10 days here, sorry. Why? There must be a reason. Maybe you've not thought about it, but you need to think about why am I here? Why come and try 8 days of my life or 10 days of my life down here? There must be a reason. And I hope you know, this actually costs Rotary a lot of money to put this thing together. And for the club to put this kind of activities together, we should know that it means so much to the club. Because yes, we can touch the community, we can possibly impact our community by doing this. It is good, that's one vision on the side of the club. But what is the vision on your own side? Do you know why you are here? So those are kind of what I put this as an example. I know the better part of you will know why you are here. But I only put this as an example so that you guys know how to challenge your mind. Because you really need to challenge your mind if you want to make a difference. Now, also coming here, some of you must have thought about what you wanted to achieve from day one before coming here. Those who have not thought about it, it's never too late to do the right thing. So you have to think, what do I want to achieve for coming here? I think some of my family members that I'm sponsoring, that we had a little chat earlier, I was asking a couple of them some similar kind of questions like this. Basically, when we try to probe our mind with these kind of questions, you know, we tend to, you know, when you critique yourself first, you find out that when you come out, when your thought process come out, hardly will you see a case where you tend to go wrong. But most of us will make some mistakes because we didn't do a proper critique of our thoughts. So, still some questions. Like I said, we sincerely need to answer those questions above so that we can understand who we are, what we want in life, and how we hope to achieve what we want. those three parts are very key. First, you need to know who you are. If you know who you are, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses. You know how to leverage on your strengths, and you also know how to build your weaknesses so that you can be stronger there. You see, and you find out that our worldview, your worldview is basically how you see things. It determines these three parts. If you have a worldview that is restricted, or you have a worldview of a belief in certain things, it's the thing that directly, not even directly affects the way you act and the way you see things. And the way you see things is how your mind works. And it's actually your mind that will get you to achieve what you need to achieve in life. So, now, the question I'm going to ask, we need to look at, how are we wired? I'm sure a lot of people will mean that, what do you mean by being wired? But the truth is, as human beings, we are all wired. Whether we like it or not, we are all wired. For some of you who are biology students, I'm sure you know that in our brain, your brain, my brain, everybody's brain, we have 10 billion neurons. Every human being, we have 10 billion neurons in our brains. And you can see all these neurons are interconnected. And the way we use them is actually the way we are wired. You see some people, if you can see them, you say, this guy will make a good teacher. You see this one, this guy will make a good engineer. How come did we see that? How are we able to say things like that? Or you see somebody say, this lady will make a good actress. Or this person will make a good actor. How are we able to tell that? It's because we are able to see some of those signs, and that's how that particular person is wired. So you really need to understand how you are wired. I'll bring up some examples of people here so that we can be able to understand how well, what we mean by being wired. I said, now for you to try to understand how you're being wired is look at. What is it you like doing? Ask yourself, what do I like doing? Then you ask again, what do I enjoy doing? I hope you know there are two different things. What you like, if what you like is here, obviously what you enjoy is up here. So, you know, that is like a filtering process. You filter out, then for you to arrive exactly at what you really are. Then, you look at what fuels your passion. I hope you know in business success, in success in life, in everything you do, you must have passion. There has to be passion. What fuels your passion? You need to understand it. And at the end of the day, you say, okay, what makes me think? It's not what makes me fast. It's not what makes me fast. That's what I said before. What makes me think? What is that thing that if I put in my passion so much in it, okay, then I can end up become someone that can actually impact the life of other people positively. That's what we mean by what makes me think. I put in examples of some people there who have actually been able to look to understand how they are wired. I chose the example of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. I'm sure a lot of you know Steve Jobs, the Apple founder, and all of you know Bill Gates. So how are these guys wired?
I'm not Steve Jobs.
They're all dropped out from university. We're not university.
Okay.
Steve Jobs dropped out from Reed College at the age of 17. Bill Gates dropped out from Harvard. They are mostly from average family. But why did they drop out? Because at that time, what they were being taught in school wasn't really what is interested. Reed was where Steve Jobs wrote down Reed. It's like a social science college. And this was a guy who wasn't really interested in social sciences. And anytime he goes to study, he got bored. And after 6 months, he hopped out of school. And when he hopped out of school, then for another 18 months, he kept dropping in some courses like Fulani said, because all this computer side course. Fulani said, he goes to people who system very well. So he started learning all those things. Then finally, he decided what he wanted to do was to create things. And that is it. Look at Bill Gates. He too, he wasn't really getting good passion. He wasn't really having that passion with what he was studying in Harvard. So when he got out, he went into that garage and his friend software company.
Sure.
They started writing software. And if you see the way they started, when they were writing the software, they were actually giving it out to company.
Hello?
When they were writing the software, they were practically giving it out for free to companies like IBM. Those days. They adopted what we call the penetration approach to get into the market. And the story is different today. That little thing we did then has made him about the richest man today in the world. Now, let's come down home. Let's look at people we know. Almost every one of us here, we eat sugar, downloaded sugar, or downloaded pasta, or whatever downloaded sugar. Actually, even today, maybe some of you are still taking the sugar.
Yes, they have.
We don't know how did this guy wired. He was a guy that when he was a young man, I had the opportunity to meet him, and I've had the opportunity to have lunch with him. This was a man that at any age, he started as a cigarette seller. And if you look through the streets of Lagos, how many cigarette sellers do we have? Why was he different? Or why is he different from all of them? Why can't he be like any other man that sells cigarettes in the market? Because this guy knew what he wanted. He put his passion into it. He knew that selling cigarettes, trading, is his passion. And he didn't stop there. He went ahead and used it. Okay, I don't want to be like a mother that carries cigarettes on his shoulder and move up and down. I want to really try to be an opportunity of the market. And he started stepping up, and started stepping up, and started stepping up. And that's why he used to be. If you look at Warren Buffett, some of you, most of you know Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
He's the owner of this company, the called Berkshire Hathaway. He's also one of the richest men in the world. I think about the second richest man in the world.
Second.
What did he do started out? He started by selling sweets as a sweet seller. But these are people who have discovered they have passion for trading. And they locked on to that passion. And they didn't lose their vision. We've seen a lot of people that when they're doing things, when you start something, maybe after 1 month or 2 months, you change it again. Another 3 months, you change it again. People tend to lose focus. But if you know what you want, like this guy understands they are wired to trade, they were into trading. Some of us are wired to be a marketer, we're going to marketing. Some of us are wired to be an engineer, we'll be an engineer. Some of us are wired to be an explorer, we'll be an explorer. But the point is you need to understand how you are wired, what makes you tick, what feels your passion, then lock on it. There will be challenges along the way, but you can never quit. That's the most important message. Now, I've taken this to bring us thoughts of some people from Academy of Achievements. Academy of Achievement is a website, it's a site rather, an association where they tend to honor people who have contributed immensely to the development of the human endeavors. And we have a host of people there, and I think the only Nigerian who's actually been honored at the Academy of Achievement is Professor Wale Soyinka. So I tried to bring out what some of them say about what it is, what achievement is all about. One thing you find out that is synonymous to all of them is that achievement is not easy.